to go live, get everything popping over here. Um, okay, well, remove that then. Save that for right now. We are broadcasting live on 3 platforms: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at this time. I thank everybody for tuning in to this installment of Like It Is. We're going to take our time with this one. I'm going to start the intro and then we'll get right into it, okay? All right. Thank everyone for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. Sincerely thanking all of you for tuning in to this installment of the 19 of Telling It Like It Is. Of course, the 19 report is still active. We're still doing things. If you would like to join, if you would like to donate to our cause at this time, you can donate to my Cash App at $19 promotions. And also, I should have put this up on the board and I apologize, but I did not. If you would like to donate, you could donate to my PayPal at paypal.me/19photographics. Now I'm going to get that up there somehow at some particular time so that we'll have that available. But I hope you would join us for this installment of Like It Is, because I wanted to talk about Billie Holiday. And many of you aren't familiar with Billie Holiday, but the movie is on Netflix right now, The United States versus Billie Holiday. And I wanted to break that down a little bit. I'm doing a little bit of work right now. I'm trying to learn this thing. So I wanted to break that down a little bit. And I hope you'll be patient with me. You ain't got nothing to do. So just be patient with me and then we'll get it going from there. I don't like that, so I'm going to take that off. Again, thank you for tuning into this installment of the 19 of Like It Is. If my eyes are a little red, the allergies are really kicking my butt right now. But we're going to get into the subject matter. I want to say this first, though. When it comes to community, we have to begin to literally police our communities a little bit better. You know, back in the days, you would when someone new would move into the neighborhood, you would bring them something from your home, something to eat or whatever, but you would make them feel welcome when they came to the community. You get to know them, get to know their families. And so that yeah, I like that. So that so I can do that sometimes. That's the Cash App, $19 promotions, Cash App, and the PayPal is paypal.me/19photographics. So if you would like to donate, you can donate to that. We've literally lost our way in the community, and what's happening in the communities are everyone's going on an individual journey where they think everything that they do is just for them and whoever is in their household. But you have to think of the community as a whole, because we are a people. So we have to think collectively as a whole, as a people. Now, in Chinese communities, they may sell drugs, but they don't sell drugs in their community. There's a place where they designate for selling drugs. They may have a club or something, but they don't have it in the middle of their community. There's a place where they designate to have that club in the community, the corner store, the club, the, you know, wherever that type of activity is going on, there's a place designated for that. When you begin to just when you begin to just do things all over the place, that's called a free radical in the human body. And free radical cells will destroy the human body. Any impediment in the body can cause dis-ease in the body. So we have to begin to collectively think about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and what we're doing it for. Now, most of you don't know me, but I've been broadcasting since 2006 on the internet. But before the internet, I used to put out newsletters and things of that nature. I'm loyal to this by God's permission. I'm loyal to it. I didn't just pop up because we have streaming software and all of that stuff. I've been doing it for a long time because my heart was in it. And the reason I did it is because I was a broken boy, and I'm still a boy in manhood training, and I'm 51 years old. But I needed to find something of value that I could cling on to and that I could share with others. Now, you're accustomed to hearing pastors and preachers and jump around and act like they got the Holy Spirit. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. That's none of my concern. But I do know that everyone doesn't take the same route to get to where they're going. But when you have something to offer to the people, you have to strengthen yourself in God and offer it to the people. And you have to do it in a way that is pleasing to the people. But I want to say this. We're talking about Billie Holiday and how her life was broken. Though she was determined, she was betrayed by every black man that was in her life. She didn't trust anybody. She had to stand up on her own. And I want to go through parts of the movie to explain to black women today what you're going through and why you're going through it. Now, I did a commentary on Mama. And in that commentary, you can go to our YouTube website. That is the 19 Report on YouTube. And you can look at that commentary on Mama. And I was saying how I don't care if your mama was a junkie, a whore, a crack addict, rather she had AIDS, rather she may have molested you. Some of these things are so detrimental to our mental state. But the thing we must remember is Mama is still Mama, and we don't know what Mama had to go through in order to provide for you and I, and in order to survive at the same time. And I also went into telling you about how Mama would be working in these Caucasian people's homes, and the children could disrespect them. The children could rub on them, feel on them. The husband would come home, have sex with her. And that's why you have all of these light-skinned and half-breed children in the South in particular. Because Mama had to lay with this man and give her life to this man in order to provide for her family. So there is a respect that goes with the life of your mother and my mother. And when you respect your mother, when you protect your mother, God looks out for you. I don't want us to get caught up in the idea that you got to have this mother with the long skirt on and just in the church and reading the Bible, because we talked about that too. Those mothers were sleeping around too. They would sleep around with the pastor and everybody else and come out and give you a few dollars and tell you go buy some food or do whatever. Mother did what she had to do. Okay, so you can catch that commentary on the 19 Report on YouTube. I hope everything is coming out clear. I can't really see what's going on. I hope and pray that you will take this information and share it. Now, I didn't understand how much fear we were under in South Carolina, in Manning in particular. I didn't understand how much fear we were under, but I'm seeing it clearer now. And I got to apologize to some of you because I didn't grow up in that kind. I'm more afraid of somebody threatening to shoot me or fight me or something that, than I am of telling the truth. I'm not afraid of telling the truth. But in the Bible, it says that money is the root of all evil, because money makes us ignore, forget, get convenient amnesia to things we should be saying that we choose not to say because we don't want to lose a position on a job. We don't want to lose money. We don't want to lose friendship and recognition. I didn't understand that, and I apologize for that. But I contacted several people in Clarendon County to talk about Freetown. Was a majority black town in Clarendon County out there towards the lake. I think it's Oak Ridge something now, but it was Freetown then. And in talking to some of these people, they literally denied that there was ever a Freetown. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, no Freetown. There ain't been no Freetown. They put it in the paper and they wrote up a story about Freetown in such an elegant way that I knew there was something underlying with that. I knew there were lynchings. I knew there was murder. I knew there was threats. I knew there was rape. I knew there was a lot of bad that came along with trying to start your own town. But none of these elders will talk about it. They won't talk about it. They will not. We are terrified. And that, to me, is proof positive that we are not as close to God as we say we are. We talk God, but we are in fear of our slave masters and their children. And I'm seeing that more frequently now than I have ever in my life. And I understand fear. So I don't want to, I apologize to, I don't apologize for saying what I say, because I don't think anything I say is offensive. But I apologize for thinking in my mind that we were strong enough to handle what is being said from God. As I listen to pastors and preachers pray today, they're still praying in a way where your vision is that of a white Jesus. Not to say that none of the prophets and messengers were white, but Jesus wasn't white. Adam wasn't white. In fact, Adam, as I am taught by my mentor, as I am taught by my mentor, Farouk, I get them mixed up, I apologize. Adam means black. So everything originated from black, from mud. But we are afraid to teach it from that perspective. I'm coming to something. We're talking about Billie Holiday. When you are unable to tell the least bit of truth, you are unable to reach your people. And when you can't get the elders to talk and tell the truth, and you have these children in the world who say that they are gangsters and thugs and killers and they ain't scared of a bullet, they ain't scared of death, but they're scared of being different. They're scared of telling truth. They're scared of siding on the side of truth in public. What God will help us if we refuse to accept truth and help ourselves? So I didn't understand the level of fear and the degree that as black people in a small town, the degree that we are willing to go to sell out our own people, to white ball our own people. There is no race of people on the earth that doesn't protect their race. Don't mean you hate another race or you have to. The only race of people that enslaved and killed people under a savage law is Caucasian people. Black folks, we did some horrible things, especially against our own people in the East. But we live here now. And if we got no roots to give our children, the root has to go down in order for the tree to come up. But if the root is contaminated, then the tree will be contaminated. So we are lying to our children and we're planting roots that when they produce fruit, they produce what you see in our children today, unfortunately. Confused, willing to grab onto anything that looks exciting. That's our children, and that's our fault. I hope that makes sense to us, but we are unable to latch on to anything of value. I just filled out some paperwork for my son to go to school. And in the paperwork, it said that I had to agree to, if I say anything on social media derogatory or offensive, he could be expelled from school because of what I say on the internet. So they are gradually destroying the power of free speech. The Patriot Act started all of that, though, and the Patriot Act in particular. It's another one, I can't think of it. But money is the root of all evil, because we don't want to lose something. We don't say anything. So we just go into, well, I'm just going to make money. So now our image of success is things. Look at what I got. Look at what I can do. But if there is no truth, there is no God. So if you're not telling truth, there is no God, but you can tell lies in this world. This is Satan's world. You can tell lies in this world and still be successful. So out of all the wonderful things, there's a gentleman in Clarendon County in particular, all A student, graduated college when he graduated high school, has been taking a free ride to Georgetown, is about to become an international lawyer to go to school for law, but he's never mentioned in Clarendon County because the good and the growth of our people in particular will never be accentuated, with the exception of the people that we want you to admire. So the side of life that is put before us is gangster, thug, killer, drug dealer, rapper, pimp. But there is more to it than that. We have doctors, lawyers, scholars, businessmen, politicians, not crooked, not working for the good of one side, but working for the good of the whole. But they are never projected in mainstream media or mainstream society, so we don't have anything to emulate. So what they project on BET is the negative. What they project on all of these different networks is the negative. And if you're not conscious enough to understand how to cipher through the negative, you'll never get the positive out of it. I hope that makes sense. Now let's get into this. The life of Billie Holiday. I want to walk through the movie a little bit for all that I can remember. At 10 years old, Billie Holiday was raped by a family member. That's number one. A black man raping his niece or cousin or daughter. At 10 years old, she was raped. She grew up in a whorehouse with her mother. She was betrayed by a man in the beginning. Does that sound familiar? She grew up in a whorehouse with her mother, who sold her to another whorehouse and told her it's time for you to get to woman up and learn how to please a man. You got to please a man. And she literally pushed her daughter into prostitution. Does that sound familiar? Fans only. Instagram. You selling your body. Billie Holiday was made numb from life. And the only thing that kept her going to pursue her talent was heroin. So, raped at 10, grew up in a whorehouse, watching women have sex naked all day long, white men, in there and all of that. Then she sold to another whorehouse where she had to sell her body. And as she comes of age, she understands that my body can get me into places where my talent and my mind would not. A strong woman, but understanding that I got to pull my pants down in order to get where I got to go. So she got accustomed to being literally raped. And that's the only kind of sex she could enjoy. The only type of pleasurable sex she could have is rough sex. Same thing I told y'all with the great Nina Simone, who ended up dying with a mental illness. And the same thing with Billie Holiday. So every single man that she got with tried to control her life. The words were profane, talking to her rough, hard. So she ended up falling in love with dogs. Dogs were her companion. And she would cry over the death of a dog like you cry over the death of a person. Does that sound familiar? Many of us now are getting a lot of dogs. DMX talks about how he trusted dogs more than he trusted people. Then a man enters her life who says that he is a ex-military man, but really he works for the federal government. She puts her trust in him, and he ends up turning her over to the federal government under drug charges. And the fact that she was singing a song entitled Strange Fruit. Because during a tour in the South, she saw black bodies hanging from the popple trees, and she made a song about it. Now, Lee Daniels produced the movie. So naturally, it's going to have its elements of homosexuality, and because he's an homosexual, and they're going to put that in everything they do. It's going to get in there somehow. But during the Harlem Renaissance, homosexuals did come out of the closet, and they were the most talented group of people, really, because they were free. You're talking James Baldwin, and you're talking what is my poet name? Langston Hughes. And many of the others, Bessie Smith, all these people that sang and, were homosexuals or bisexual. What I'm saying is that what went on then is going on now to the 10th and 20th power, the 100th degree. It's maximizing to the point where, since we're not going to turn around, we will have to be destroyed. And we are destroying ourselves at this point. So Billie Holiday, the person she trusted, was a federal agent that worked for Ashlanger. I think his name was Harry Ashlanger or something like that. And in the movie, he says, the downfall of America will be niggas and drugs. And then with J. Edgar Hoover, he worked for J. Edgar Hoover. And J. Edgar Hoover, of course, was looking for any black messiah that would incite black people to rise up above what they thought they were. It's no different than today. That's why every great person has to be controlled. And the point of the United States versus Billie Holiday is that we have to control this person. We have to break her to the point where she will not buck against our system and make other people think that they can do the same. So she got involved with when they arrested her the first time on heroin charges. The man who arrested her was a privileged black man because his father owned a funeral home. The father died, but the mother was still alive. He never even told his mother what he did for a living, but once he told her what he did for a living, his mother said, "You should leave that woman alone. She's doing good for black people. Why would you set her up to be arrested and put in jail and destroy her life when that song, Strange Fruit, is relaying a message of what we went through as a people? Why would you try to break that?" So when I started talking to people in Clarendon County and other places about what really happened to black folks here, man, they were terrified. And they are terrified. And most of them got a little house and a little car, and they're going to die leaving their children in ignorance, a poison root producing poison fruit. So the name of the song was Strange Fruit because from the tree hung black bodies. She talked about the smell of the bodies. She talked about the bulging eyes from being hung and the blood not going to the head. She had never seen anything like that before. You don't see anything like that unless you're from the South. We're talking about Billie Holiday and the determined, broken, betrayed black woman. What black women had to endure then has shaped what we are now. So what Billie Holiday saw, it broke her to see black men, women, children hanging from trees, but it didn't frighten her to the point where she wouldn't talk about it. So the object of Caucasians during that period was to put what they considered the fear of God in us. And the fear of God was the fear of them because they said that they were our gods. But Billie Holiday did not submit to their idea of them being God. She took control of her own life, her own destiny. And they feared that if others caught on to that they would try to do the same. So the object of J. Edgar Hoover in that period, Bull Connor in the South, was to stop the rise of a black messiah. Anybody that could break the cycle of black inferiority and the black inferior mindset. Now, you think that is broken by someone becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a preacher, but it's not, because they are following the rules and laws and books and degrees of this world. So they are the ones who the Bible talks about. The love of money is the root of all evil, because once you get into money, you will not do anything to stop making that money. So you will sacrifice your children to keep money. And we talked about the blood sacrifices that used to be talked about in private with Jennifer Hudson and Puff Daddy and all these people who had to do all of these things to make it in the music industry. But these blood sacrifices are done in our homes, in our community, by people who love money more than they love morals. Billie Holiday, where did we stop? The FBI agent set her up in the hotel room. So that's 3 black men already that did her wrong. She saw what white folks did to black people in the South, and her lawyer, who was a Jewish person, white, told her to cop a plea, and if she cop a plea, she would just go to rehab. But it turns out she had to do 2 years in prison and had to go through rehab on her own. And you have no idea how sick you get when you're withdrawn from heroin. So the 2 years in prison, she endured it. She got out in the 2 years in prison, and then they took her ability to work. They took her card, her green card, where she could perform in clubs and cabarets and all that stuff. So she had to go underground. And when she went underground, she met another black man. And that black man right off the bat said, we'll talk afterwards. He want to have sex. And they did rough sex. And when the agents approached him, he set her up by trying to put drugs into her pocket. And she ended up going back to court again. And here we go again. Another black man betraying Billie Holiday. Now she's suffering mentally this whole time, not knowing who to trust. But the only kind of man she knows is a no good, conniving, double-crossing gangster black man. That's all her mind can tell her that can protect her from this world. Does that sound familiar? Why are you young girls going after the gangsters and the thugs? Even though you put your life at risk every day, you do it. You let them drive your car all night, then you drive it during the day, and it's getting shot up by people who are mistaking you for them. But you're willing to risk it all. Why? Because you're trying to find security in a black man that you don't trust. So, girl, men gonna do what they gonna do. Men ain't no good, but you stay with them until you can't no longer. Then you go get a woman, only to find out that women ain't no better than men. They want all the women too. I've been to gay parties. I've been I know homosexual people. Man, look, they cheat just as much as heterosexual people. Not all, but some. So here she's been betrayed again, and this is you, women. You're betrayed by men. You don't trust them subconsciously. You don't trust your men. So you would rather your man be crippled? You would rather your man be in a position where he can't go nowhere? You would rather him be where he ain't got to go to work, where he ain't got to do nothing, and you could just rest assured that he at home and he ain't doing no wrong. You will accept that over accepting a man who's doing something of value because you don't trust the man. Billie Holiday is a prime example of why you don't trust the man. And the men in the movie are an example of how we as men dropped the ball because we didn't know how to survive in the white man's world. So we tried to build our own world, but ours is just as corrupt as theirs. So you think just having drug dealers and stuff in the neighborhood means you can police your own community, but they're just as corrupt as the police. These people will not do no different than the police. You think having churches all in your community, but they're just as corrupt as the police. Some of them, just as corrupt as the system, because they are brought up in the system. You didn't learn drug dealing and mixing drugs on your own. The system taught you how to cook crack. The system taught you how to cook heroin. The system taught you how to grow a hybrid marijuana that the male and the female never get to cohabitate together. So you got a male marijuana plant that's horny and a female marijuana plant that's horny, and they're trying to get together and drop some seeds, but you don't allow them to drop no seeds. So now the marijuana today don't have no seeds, but they're defective. Because if you're smoking something that never had a chance to be with its natural partner. So they did an experiment on cats with meat, and the cats who ate processed meats ended up being more homosexual than the cats who didn't. It's a whole lot of stuff we can talk about with this Billie Holiday. But this woman had to endure these things as an example of what you have to go through in order to try to be successful in this life. Shaka Khan talks about it. A lot of Angie Stone talks about it. You want to be on my label? Drop your underwear and bend over. And after a while, you get so numb to it that you almost start to enjoy it. So you see in the movie with Billie Holiday, she tell him, take your shirt off, man. And she just bend over and book up and here. And then he tries to kiss her. He said, not this way. And she looking at him like, what are you doing? I like this savage stuff. I'm used to this. I'm not used to all this love making. So he finally makes love to her. She don't know how to handle it. She don't know how to handle love because love is not something that she got. Everybody in her life betrayed her. So she falls in love, and then they flash through these scenes of her seeing the bodies hanging in the tree. And if you notice, it's a man and the children saying, Daddy, get mama out of the tree, mama. Daddy, get her down. And he is trying to pick her up from the bottom and get her out of the tree, not knowing that if you unhook the rope that was tied and ease her down, she can drop down out of the tree. So it's depicting the black male as ignorant and defenseless. His house was burned down, his children were crying, and his wife was hanging in the tree. This is what we had to endure. So when I tell you how terrified the people are of telling the truth, the reason it hurts me and why it should concern you is that we talk God more than we ever did before now. Now everything is God, God, and God. And I tell the devil is a liar and the devil is this, but you're still afraid to tell your children a truth that may free them from the bondage of the slavery that they were indoctrinated into. Where I walk is very lonely. There is no room for intelligent conversation because you almost look like a bum because you're white bald. You're talented, very professional, articulate, intelligent. But when they block you out, you're out. And the people don't think for themselves. Those in power think for the people. So when those in power say you're bad, the people say, yeah, he bad. There was a situation with someone who hired someone on the job. This is a true story. And the person that was already on the job, as soon as the person got hired, started telling them she bad, she a bad person, she mean, and scared the person to death. And the person went on for years and years thinking that this person is bad because that person said they're bad. And the person is just telling this other person, yeah, this person said that you were bad. And I thought you were bad because they said you were bad. See, someone is always setting our perception of who to trust, who to believe, who to listen to. So I've got blood people in my family who will say, Keith is a nut, Jamil is a nut, don't listen to him. That's a dangerous thing to do because you were brought up in a system where all of y'all gonna bear witness when somebody start preaching because all of y'all got the same preaching. Y'all ain't going off script. You won't go off script because you don't want to lose money. You don't want to lose prestige and power and position. You want everybody to like you. You want to pretend, well, I'm miserable when I'm around people who I know don't like me. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around fake situations. Jesus was like that. All the prophets and messengers of God were like that. We're talking about Billie Holiday. Now she is flashing through all of these situations that terrify her to death. And she's with a band that she loves because they look out for each other. And she's with the FBI agent who decided, I'm not going to try to set you up anymore. I love you. But at the height of their happiness, she calls one of the gangsters to come pick her up. And she tells the FBI agent, you're not my kind of guy, choir boy or church boy or something, she says. I need to feel protected. So even under the care of an FBI agent, she didn't feel protected. Does that sound familiar? That's why everybody always say, F the police, F the police. You don't feel protected. But under the gangster, she felt protected. So they came and picked her up. She jumped in the car, left all her friends, left the man who really loved her for the gangster. Does it sound familiar today in 2021? Because of her upbringing, she could not trust something outside of her element. You understand me? And because of our lies told to us and our upbringing, we don't know how to trust anything outside of our element. So all we trust is the dangerous person. Now the saying in the street is, be dangerous, be dangerous. Not be careful, be dangerous. Because all the dangerous people got all the clout now. Because they'll kill you on a tick. They'll kill you for nothing. They're dangerous. And all the women of value, whether they're doctors, lawyers, or preachers or pastors, want to be with the dangerous people. Never mind that a man who's protecting his family is just as dangerous as any gangster on the street if he loves his family. He just thinks twice and then three times before he acts, whereas the gangster just don't think, nah, F jail. So she left the good guy, went with the bad guy. But the good guy, quote unquote, loved her. And she knew she could always turn to him for truth. One time she had to perform and she said she wasn't going out. And one of the men she was with watched the movie. I'm sure that Lee Daniels and the rest of them added in a lot. You got to make it interesting. And they took out a lot. But look at how the actress, I don't know her name, but she did a brilliant job. But look at how she aged over time with heroin and alcohol. And she was telling the FBI agent loved, and the FBI agent is like me with my ex-wife and this wife. I take so much from them so that I don't have to deal with whatever's going on in their mind. But sometimes you get fed up. It's like, wow, how much more of me you want me to give you? I'm giving you me now. So the FBI agent loves Billie Holiday so much, he's willing to shoot up heroin to prove to her that he's down. So he shoots up the heroin, and as he's getting high, she tell her, don't you fall in love with that feeling, because that feeling will not love you back. So our women are falling in love with the feeling that's not loving them back, and not getting love back in the way that you need it leaves you empty. But the person who's getting from you and getting full has no clue that you're empty. And she was telling him, I do these drugs, I drink this liquor, but I am empty. And the only thing of value that I have is my integrity in what I say I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. So anywhere she went to sing that song, Strange Fruit, police were there. They were going to arrest her the minute she said it. One show she didn't sing the Strange Fruit song, but she walked off feeling unfulfilled. I'm saying that we're living in an illusion. And when you're living in an illusion, you're wasting time. And when you're wasting time, generation after generation goes deeper into the illusion, and the root that's going into the ground is producing a fruit of ignorance. So when Billie Holiday is talking about the strange fruit, she's not just talking about the bodies themselves. She's talking about the life she had to live in order to do what she loved doing. And even on her deathbed, they were still trying to break her. And she refused to break. And the whole world was at her funeral because she made them feel good. But when you're doing for people and making them feel good and they don't know you, they will mistreat you at the drop of a dime. Now they're all piled up at her funeral, but she can't see them. She don't know they're there. So I'm saying that most of us are broken, women in particular, very broken. You'll see 50% to or maybe 60% of women will never get married, will always be with a married man. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, where there's no good woman, there's a no good man that made her that way. So I work very hard on trying not to make a woman no good. I try to be the person that will make them see, oh, he's got value. But when a person has been broken by man, woman, parents, you can't give all of yourself to them. As Billie Holiday said, don't fall in love with that feeling because it'll never love you. It'll destroy you. So what you are looking at in us as a people is a destroyed people. We are destroyed. But we got trinkets, we got cars, we got houses, we got decent jobs, we got pensions. And that we try to make those things fill the void of the emptiness of not knowing who or what we are. So the Bible says the root of all evil, money, not that money is evil, but that we are willing to sell our souls for it. And in doing so, we are raising a generation of animals, numb to anything other than what they see. They're individualized. My family. You don't talk to my mama like that, but they'll cuss your mama out and pull a gun out on you if you try to protect your mama because their mama is important. Shouldn't every mama be important? That's somebody's mother. I'm not going to disrespect her, but no, you killing mama. An 80-year-old woman in a wheelchair was killed 2 days ago. I posted it up. 1-year-old, 2-year-old babies murdered, but you don't want your children touched though. But you will encourage them to do foolishness. This is the life of the great Billie Holiday, lover or not. And I want to say this. I heard her sing the song, Lady Sings the Blues, on the show. And it wasn't until I heard her sing that song that I realized Diana Ross and Billie D. Williams in Lady Sings the Blues, that Diana Ross was playing Billie Holiday. And Billie D. Williams was playing one of the pimps the smooth pimp. Or the FBI agent. I'm going to have to go back and look at it because I didn't realize that. I remember on Lady Sings the Blues when she saw the bodies hanging when they were in the country, in the South. And Richard Pryor was playing the part of her friend who would always go out and get the drugs. I remember that. And the drug dealers came and they beat Richard Pryor to death because he stole the drugs for Billie. And Billie Holiday, played by Diana Ross, was sitting in the corner high and crying, don't do that, don't do that. But she couldn't feel pain for the person who was willing to go up against gangsters to get her high. So today we wear shirts that say, rest in peace to my man, or free my man, or whatever, but we don't feel anything. We're pretending. And that's why 95% of the murders committed today in violence are people who know each other. The people who are talking about you are people who know each other. That's why when you're in church and they say the enemy gonna talk about you and you be amen, it's somebody in the church that they're talking about. And you're calling them your enemy, but you're somebody's enemy. What a black woman had to endure then has shaped what she is now. So Billie Holiday died from cirrhosis of the liver due to alcohol and heroin. A talented person that if you go listen to her music now, it will move your soul because she sung from the soul. Billie Holiday is no different than Whitney Houston. No different than any great singer. Vanity from Vanity 6 died from cirrhosis of the liver or hepatitis or something, because they gotta sleep around so much. So I wanted to get that out there. I want you to watch the movie. It starts off kind of slow and you got to stay focused on it. It's something that's going on, I think, in the late 60s. I think she died in 68. I don't know why. I feel so much from her and I feel so much from other people like I was here during the time. But I love the Harlem Renaissance. I feel like I was there before in another life or something. I don't know. Something. But I feel that period more so than anything, the creative period. We must stop lying to our children. In closing, I'm closing now. If we refuse to sacrifice for the good of our children, then no matter how far they go in life, there will always be a void in them that will easily trigger something in them. And 1 minute they're going on a straight path and you think they're set for life. And the next minute you find out they're drugged out. They have anxiety. There's some other major issue going on because we didn't fulfill that part of them. And most of us as parents now are just trying to survive. We're not teaching because children don't want to be taught. There's probably 5 children in Clarendon County that will sit down and read a whole book. 5 black children that'll sit down and read an entire book. We don't want that. We want microwave life, and we cause that. So we think that we can just think a thought and make it happen. So that's why you got everybody chasing after success in football, success in basketball, success in rap, success in everybody or design a t-shirt and say they're a clothing designer. You're not a clothing designer if you design a t-shirt. You're a t-shirt designer. And it's not even your t-shirt. You're just an image designer. You're not a photographer because you got a camera and take pictures. You take pictures. But the readily availability of the things that we think will make us great, make us get these things. And then you see us on the internet talking about how great we are. But we miss step one. Step one is being a good child to your parents. Then you grow up and become a parent and teach your child. Then they have brothers and sisters that they raise and teach. And then you go off and you begin to raise your own family. But now mothers don't want to be mamas. Sisters and brothers want to call you sister and brother. In fact, they call other people sister and brother. But they're not there to go through the cycle of teaching your brothers and sisters what love is. That's your job as a brother or a sister, as a sibling. You skip all of that. And then you want to tell somebody that you a man because you make money. A job ain't nothing but work. I love work. I love money. But don't get that confused with being a good parent, a good father, or being someone who knows and understands. Billie Holiday had to go through the vicissitudes of the reality of the times. And if it were not for people like her, the cycle of that reality would not come close to being broken. And in 2021, women are having sex with record executives or anybody they can, trying to get them a spot. They are being millionaires made on OnlyFans and Instagram and Pornhub. All they got to do is sell their body. But what after that? Some go on to go to school and become something of value. But if you're not connected with your community, what after that? So you see, we get to a point, we get stagnant, and we go right back down. I'm done. I thank you for tuning in. I wanted to talk about this, and if you like what you heard, please share it. You're not going to hear it anyplace else right now. You're not. But it's something that needs to be heard. It's something that needs to be pondered on and acted upon. Because I realized on last night that most families, though they stay together, they're miserable. Most families are miserable. Most families are miserable. They'll never separate. They'll always stay together, but they're miserable. I found out that most of my life, I'm pretending, because I can see through people. And as long as you're feeding their ego, as long as they are the center of attention, as long as they get to say to you whatever they want to say to you, then things are fine. But you got to take all of that pain from them in order for things to be fine. But the minute you say something, all of a sudden, everything breaks apart. And a person like myself, empathetic, you already taken on so much, you don't want to take on no more. So you go back to smiling and acting like things are all right. When people saw Billie Holiday on the stage, they didn't know. The man kicked her in the ribs and broke her ribs, and busted her eye. She had to put makeup on and wrap her ribs, and she got up there and she sung. And she made the crowd feel so good from her song, but she was miserable and in pain. This is where we are. We are in an illusion of life. We are lying. And Satan will not allow you to leave out of that illusion. He uses fear. And that's why the scripture says, yea, though I walk through the valley and shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. However it goes, you understand exactly what I'm saying. Evil is there. The bullies are going to bully. We are not on demon time. We are on Pharaoh time, because Pharaoh was given 9 signs before God killed him. But Pharaoh did not turn around and say, okay, I quit. So you see people all around, they just don't get to, they go to jail for 10 years and come back out, nigga, I could do 10 more years on my head. Because they don't get it. They keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, and get mad at you for standing up for yourself. The man broke Billie Holiday's ribs because she said, you stealing my money. And she took her money back. And when she got back in the building, he kicked her in the ribs, bust her in the eye, and told her, you better get out there and get on stage. In other words, the nerve of you to call me a liar and a thief, even though I am a liar and a thief. So we are pretending. I saw so much of it today. I was at a funeral till it made me sick. We are actors. And like actors, we wear fake hair, fake lashes, fake nails. We are on a stage all day, every day, pretending. And if you pretend long enough, you feel like it's real, but that makes it an illusion. So thank God for the life of the late Billie Holiday. Thank God for the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Thank Almighty God for all the prophets and messengers from Jesus all the way to Muhammad, all in between. Thank God for the prophets and messengers who came lower than low to get those of us who couldn't deal with the lie of religion, the way it was being presented. The white man didn't give it to you until he changed it and made you submissive to him. So now, even when you're black teaching God, the people see white. God is just and merciful. So if there's a message for black people, he's going to send a black person. Not with a white message, but with a universal black message. He sends white messengers to white people, Chinese messengers to Chinese people. That's who Buddha is. Mexican messengers to Mexican people. That's Quetzalcoatl. You the only person that'll deny your message and want to take something from somebody else and live in an illusion. So I see the fear. I see the pain. And Lord knows I'm afraid of God more than I am of man, because I know that God can stop a situation. Allah can stop it. But I also know that he talks to Satan. Talked to Satan in the book of Job. And Job said, if you take the hedge from around him, I'll make him curse you to your face. So God said, go ahead and try him. So it's God that allows the devil loose. So I got to submit to the one who can control the bulldog. I can't submit to the bulldog. I got to submit to the one who controls the bulldog. Thank y'all for tuning in. Jamil Salib Zamir, Manning, South Carolina. Please share, like, and share this. Donate if you can. Totally appreciate it.